So this week we're entering Parashat Terumah. Let them make me a sanctuary that I may dwell within them. Shemot 25:8. Since the 613 mitzvot are eternal, there has to be a way to keep them at any given time. However, is it then possible to fulfill the mitzvah of building the temple in our time? Mikdash Me'at, a miniature sanctuary, a personal sanctuary. Rabbi Yaakov Yosef from Polnoi answers that since every person is a small world, each of us can build a sanctuary within our heart for the divine presence to dwell. In this way, the continuation of the verse can be fulfilled, that I may dwell within them. If our heart can become the dwelling place for the divine presence, certainly the Jewish home can be compared to the temple, as it is known that a Jewish home is called a Mikdash Me'at, a miniature sanctuary. The Jewish home is a miniature sanctuary. So being the chief of her home, the woman is compared to the Kohen Gadol, high priest, and her housework to his divine service. Just as the Kohen Gadol kindles the menorah, the candelabra, in the Beis HaMikdash, the temple, the woman lights the Shabbat candles in her home. The bread she bakes is like the showbread in the temple. The food she cooks is like the korban, the sacrifice. And the table she eats and sets everything on is like the mizbeach, the altar. So her goal is to imbue her home with spirituality and fear of Hashem. So in the same manner that the Kohen Hagadol causes the Shekhinah to dwell in the world, the woman invites the Shekhinah to enter her home. So just like the Kohen Gadol is not inferior to the king, so is the wife not inferior to her husband. They complete one another, each performing their vital function. Like the tent of Sarah. In Parashat Sarah, we learn that Yitzhak brought Rivka into his mother Sarah's tent, Bereshit 24:67. Rashi explains that the tent of Sarah was unique in 3 ways. While Sarah was living, a light had been burning in the tent from one Shabbat Eve to the next. There was a continuous blessing in the dough, and the cloud of glory was always hanging over the tent. However, since her death, all of this had stopped. So when Rivka entered, these 3 blessings reappeared. Thus we see that the Mishkan is modeled after the home of Sarah Imanu, our mother. The eternal light of the menorah corresponds to the light burning in her tent. And the showbread that would stay warm and fresh from one Shabbat Eve to the next is compared to the blessing in her dough. The cloud of glory hanging over Sarah's tent is the same cloud that covered the appointed tent and filled the tabernacle with Hashem's glory. Shemot 40:34. These special qualities are the Jewish home. They were inherited by Rivka. She transmitted them to the chain of future Jewish women. We are the receivers of these spiritual genetics that imbue us to enter the tent of Sarah and transform our home into a dwelling place for God's feminine indwelling presence, the Shekhinah. So now we're going to look at the virtues of a Jewish woman. The Maharal explains that a Jewish woman merits the blessings of Sarah's tent through her performance of the special mitzvot designated for women. The bracha in the dough corresponds to the mitzvah of taking challah, bread offering, and the burning light corresponds to the mitzvah of lighting the Shabbat candles. The cloud hanging over her tent is the cloud of Hashem Shekhinah that a woman merits by keeping the mitzvah of Taharat HaMishpacha, family purity, because purity, Tahara, leads to holiness. Gur Aryeh, Bereshit 24:67. In addition to being and the merit of performing the special mitzvah designated for women, these blessings teach us the virtues that every Jewish woman should aspire to achieve. Being intelligent causes the cloud of the divine presence and prophecy to rest upon her. The blessing in the dough occurs when a woman takes care of the needs of her home and watches over its belongings. So, remaining calm and peaceful, avoiding fights and tension causes the candle, a symbol of peace, to burn infinitely. The light of the candle is also a symbol of Torah learning, as it states, "For the mitzvah is a candle, and Torah is light." This is in Proverbs 6:23, Mishlei 6:23. Therefore, when we light the Shabbat candles, it is a custom for women to pray for children who will illuminate the world with their Torah, and that is in Yafet To'ad on Bereshit Rabbah 60:16. So we light the Shabbos candles, and we have the custom to pray for children who illuminate the world with their Torah. And now we're going to look at the baby-faced cherubs. You shall make 2 cherubs of gold, Shemot 25:18. The cherubs symbolize our young children, as Rashi explains. They had the form of a child's face. Just like the cherubs were attached to the Holy Ark, containing the tablets of the law, so must we ensure that our little ones are educated to attach themselves to Torah. Rabbi Meir Shapira explains that the utensils of the sanctuary could be made from any metal. If there was no gold to be found, any metal could be used. The cherubs, however, had to be made from pure gold. This teaches us that when it comes to a matter as important as a child and as their education, no compromise is acceptable. We are obligated to give them the very best, as their Torah learning is worth much more than gold.
مصراعي من بيت عبدوثو أنا الله ربك الذي أخرجتك من بلد مصر من بيت العبودية لا يهيا لخاء